right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for Split Decision, your weekly MMA podcast brought to you from the Rulot Family Inc. studios. It is Taj and Bueller on the mics. Hey, if I say your name first, then I can get it right.
Possibly.
We'll see what happens with that. You can check us out.
3 days without incident.
3 days without incident. Three podcasts in. You can get us on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud. iTunes is the way to go for subscribing if you don't ever want to have to worry about, I got to go download that thing again. iTunes will do it automatically for you, and then boom, you're set. Or get it at our official website, which is splitdecisionmma.com. Throw us a like on Facebook, Split Decision MMA Podcast. Tell your friends. And on Instagram and Twitter, it is SD_MMA. Going to kick it off with some news. Of course, we got to recap some fights, talk about the Ultimate Fighter, and we got UFC 178 coming up tomorrow night. Before we get too deep in this, we've got some kick-ass interviews that we did this week. We had Felice Herrig last week, and it was awesome. This week we got to follow it up with Randa Marcos, who was a lot of fun, Eddie Alvarez, who was amazing, and Demetrius Johnson. And then we got the news kicking off right now with Edgar versus Swanson.
And then Demetrius Johnson.
He did drop an F-bomb. It was kind of
so uncharacteristic. All right, so breaking into the news, we have a main event for UFC Fight Night. I don't even know what number we're on now. This is going to be in Austin, Texas, November 22nd. We're going to have Frankie Edgar going up against Cub Swanson.
Fun fight.
I like that fight a lot.
Fight. If you like action, if you like tenacity, you're going to get that in this fight big time.
Yeah, and then the co-main event is going to be Edson Barbosa against Bobby Green.
Bobby Green getting a shot again, huh?
Yeah,
cool.
I like this so far. It's decent card, little start.
For two
nice
fights being
start.
announced for a free fight night, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, nice little start. More news, another fighter is coming back. Nate Diaz got his contract kind of pretty much worked out with the UFC. He's going to be fighting Rafael Dos Anjos in December.
Rafael Two Hands.
So we can see Nate Diaz come back after almost a year layoff and being unhappy with the UFC.
So did they budge on the contract negotiation?
Sort of, yeah. He wanted somebody in the top 10. That's what he kept asking for. He wanted somebody that makes sense for him. So he's taking number 3 ranked lightweight Rafael Dos Anjos.
Okay, so that was the bare minimum.
He wanted money, and he wanted to fight somebody that had a name.
And he
was tired of fighting some.
This was cheaper.
And this
so they gave him somebody with a name.
They gave him somebody with a name
that I didn't understand for the last 4 years.
Another big fight, which is not happening in the UFC, but this is kind of a rematch going down Metamoris 5. We're gonna have Sakuraba, one of the best Japanese fighters.
God, this poor bastard
out there will be going up against Renzo Gracie. So this fight happened back in Pride, and Renzo refused to tap out. Sakuraba ended up breaking his arm due to Kimura. Won this bout. He was known as the Gracie Hunter back in the days of Pride.
Gracie Killer.
Yeah, I mean, he took out Renzo. He took out...
Did he get Hickson?
No, he never got Hickson. He took out
because Hickson's like 500-0.
Yeah, of course.
Hickson by armbar.
And, of course, Hoist was the big one.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a full-on jiu-jitsu match. I just really wonder what kind of rules the Gracies are going to put into this thing. Especially it being Sakuraba against the Gracie in their own events that they created.
But I mean, okay, if you have the old Pride DVDs, I mean, Dodge and I are old school fans, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who listen now who probably weren't around in the beginning days of that kind of stuff. Sakuraba developed this thing where when the Gracies were on their back waiting for him to come into their guard, he basically would just jump stomp them to get in there. Yeah. And if you watch Pride 1 through 4, you can literally see him develop. The evolution. Like literally see it in each fight. He strategizes more and more until he finally executes it.
Well,
and then
even when he's fighting Hoist, I mean, he's doing some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah,
like kind of like making fun, like he was pulling his shirt over pulling the gi over his head and like hitting him hockey style.
Yeah,
like he was doing all kinds of random stuff like that. It was really cool.
Great stuff to check out. I mean, if you want to get some history in MMA, that's some stuff to watch. The evolution of Sakuraba. But what is he going to do in a grappling match? He can't jump stomp.
No, can't jump stomp. I mean, he can kind of jump in there. You just can't kick him in the head. He can jump all up in there all crazy.
Yeah,
he doesn't kick him.
What if he jumps and forgets?
There's no striking.
He forgets to spread his ankles and accidentally lands on his stomach. An atomic drop on his stomach.
I mean, Mark Hunt did the atomic butt drop. You remember that?
Yeah,
that was back in Pride too.
I would pay for this just if I knew Sakuraba was going to do like an atomic knee drop on Renzo's stomach.
Well, they can do a controlled throw though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's cool. I feel bad for Sakuraba because that guy was used and abused so hard by Pride, But if he can come out and make some more cash for himself, then good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to watch. I'd watch that.
UFC has released another fighter, Mike Easton. The Hulk is now out of the UFC.
It's too bad.
I mean, he's lost his last 4 consecutive bouts. So,
well, what are you going to do at that point?
Kind of, they gotta keep the roster moving. EFC, which was out of Africa. You remember EFC Africa?
Yeah.
They have now decided to move officially worldwide. They have relaunched their brand known as EFC Worldwide.
Is that Ebola Fight Conference?
Yes, it is.
Extreme Fighting Championships.
Oh, sorry.
That they are now going to. They are headquartered in Johannesburg, and they are going to be now going global and putting their programming available. They say in 600 million homes worldwide
by boat.
I don't think the fights
By
take place on
55
boat.
Chevy. What do you mean?
So I'd be interested to see some of the things that are going to be happening with EFC.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing is going to happen with EFC. The next thing you're going to read about EFC is that EFC folds into ONE FC or something like that, if it's even valuable enough to do that. League. Super Fight League. They should combine with Super Fight League. Then maybe they'll have a product.
One other company I think may possibly fold next year, World Series of Fighting, has decided to adopt a new pay-per-view model where they are going to give 50% of revenue to the fighters. Now, this is something that happens, obviously, in boxing with Floyd Mayweather. He gets 50% of everything that goes on with his fights.
Him individually. So
individually.
I'm imagining they're taking 50% and spreading it out amongst the fighters.
But still, I want to know how they're... I mean, I guess I just want to know how Ray Sef was going to pay these guys 50% of all the revenue when they do pay-per-view.
Well, if nobody buys a pay-per-view, then you don't have to worry about it.
Well, it's like when Joey was asking about a raise this week. It's like double whatever you're making now.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's fine with me.
Hector Lombard going out on Twitter and Instagram calling out Matt Brown. That would be a hell of a fight. However, both guys are coming off of a loss. I don't think this is something that's going to...
When you're not the number one in your division, can you really wear that shirt?
It's like a boss shirt.
Can you switch those two letters?
Yeah.
Like a hoss?
No, bike a loss.
Bike a loss.
Bike a loss. Because really, I mean, couldn't you say like a worker, really? or like a middle management?
Yeah, like
I'm just wondering why he's not wearing his show weather clothes.
Because it didn't catch on.
It's now a brand, sir? You made it a brand. Where's his first show weather t-shirt?
Oh, God.
Two other
Mayweather
fighters...
probably put a cease and desist on it. Like, what the fuck? Do you think you can really do this shit?
Yeah, because he can't read, so he thought it'd say it. He's like, hey, the last half of that looked familiar.
That looked like I signed my name.
I didn't put that on
He doesn't
there.
sign his name. You give him a fucking crayon and he scribbles.
Allegedly.
I did like the 50 Cent call-out challenge, though. That was probably one of the funniest things ever.
Well, yeah.
Even his response was funny, but still.
Well, I mean, even after this week, I have learned something. And we cannot directly call somebody a liar. This happened in somebody had an NFL podcast, and they referred to Roger Goodell as a liar. What we can say is, in our opinion, we feel
that Mayweather writes all of his checks in crayon. May or may not be able to read or write things.
Right.
Do we have to put a disclaimer on this that half of the show is like alleged comedy, so we don't have to be taken seriously all the time?
Yeah, what was funny, though, is because he even said, he goes, I'd like somebody to call me and tell me that I'm in trouble in my own podcast. And then he received a 3-week suspension, a cut and pay. Yeah.
Oh, so he's not lying. Who suspends us?
Yeah.
No,
the website?
We're good.
We're good.
Our own website is like, nope, not playing your shit. Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Sorry, guys. Can't do it.
He went over the board. That's too much.
Two other fighters that are calling each other out. Sarah McMahon and Miesha Tate want to fight with each other.
Cool.
I think that would be a really good fight. Definitely puts them both on the track back towards a title. Both of them obviously losing the title shot that they had against Ronda Rousey, but still working their way back up. I think it's a good fight.
I think it's a great fight.
They both call each other out. No hard feelings. They just want to fight. Hopefully we'll see what the UFC does. The UFC did retweet both their exchanges, so it's possible this could be happening.
Hey, Miesha Tate called Sarah McMahon a pretty lady.
Are you jealous?
This is going to be a dance. This is going to be a dance. This is going to be a tangle we want to watch.
Are you jealous?
I'm very jealess. Get out of my Kool-Aid, Sarah McMahon.
Paulo Filho is supposed to be having a fight at a event, which I think is a horrible name for an event. It's called Fatality Arena 7.
And he has a seizure?
And he had a seizure.
It almost lived up to his name.
The morning of the fight and had to cancel the fight.
Was there strobe lights?
No, it was Pokemon.
Yeah.
Again, why would you name
Someone's going to die here, fight 7!
Wait, why is that guy almost dying? We got to change the name, quick! Change the name!
Everyone lives!
He'll live! He'll live!
I mean, if you're going to name it something like that, at the very end of the fight, it has to go, finish him!
Oh, yeah.
Legacy Fighting Championship has picked up a new fighter, Miguel Torres. is now on their roster. He's going to be fighting in their first ever kickboxing card.
Interesting.
Going up against Angel Huerta. Also on that same card, Pat Barry is going to go up against Demoro Dennis. Who? Pat Barry?
No, Miguel Torres.
Miguel
going
Torres,
up against
okay.
Angel Huerta.
Yeah.
Angel Huerta is, Miguel Torres is a BJJ guy at heart.
Yes.
He's not a kickboxer at heart. And if I remember right, Angel Huerta's got some good experience kickboxing.
Pretty decent, yeah. So, hopefully we'll not see him die.
He's too skinny to be doing that anyway. He's going to break his leg a la Anderson Silva.
Are you saying he's good with his feet hands?
His feet tense?
His feet hands.
Recent news came out about Jose Aldo. He was hospitalized this Friday for kidney stones.
Ugh.
They say that will not hinder him from fighting October 25th when he goes up against Chad Mendez, but apparently they just wanted to put that out there. So is this going to be an excuse if he loses?
I like how somebody this week said that they should just put an octagon at the hospital and just have Aldo fight there all the time.
Yeah, since he always seems to be getting hurt. Chad Mendez said he's an asshole anyway. He said straight up he's always an asshole. He's like, I don't understand why he pushed me in the weigh-in or the media thing. He's like, it makes no sense. You're not even really hype. You suck at hyping fights. Don't push me. Like,
I don't think anybody's going to be touching each other after.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Benson Henderson decided he's going to be moving up in weight after one more fight at lightweight. He's going to move to 170.
Cool.
How do you feel about Benson at 170?
It could be a lot of fun.
You're supposed to go the other way, Benson.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is usually you drop.
But how much
Yeah.
is he cutting to get to
He
155?
said he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to have to cut weight. He wants to see what it's like to fight without cutting weight.
You're not Rumble Johnson, Benson.
Good, because
Yeah, 'cause he's not suspended?
Yeah, and let's start. What happened to innocent until proven guilty?
We'll get to that.
All right.
Dana White recently talking about the Carano issue. He says he's no longer confident.
Really?
No longer confident at all. He says that she and her people are the most difficult people he's ever had to work with. In quotes, the hardest human being we've ever dealt with. She's already set to be in another movie that's going to be coming out called Bus 657 with Robert De Niro and Dave Batista.
It's going to be Speed 4.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And I just found out something that blew my mind yesterday about Dave Batista. He's going to be the new Tong Po in the Kickboxer remake that also stars GSP.
Oh.
Really?
I have no words for that.
Mind blown.
That is the biggest fucking Tong Po I've ever seen in my life if it's Dave Batista
Mind's blown.
against GSP. Does GSP realize that this is a kickboxing movie? You can't lay on top of him and beat him up on the ground?
But it's a movie.
True.
Who's going to be the monkey guy?
I don't know.
I'm interested in that now. They're going to have Capoeira?
Possibly?
I'm excited about this. And is Gina Carano the one getting Dave Batista all of his roles?
Quite possibly.
I know what to get him for his birthday now.
The Kickboxer
Capoeira.
remake movie?
Just give me Only the Strong, dude.
Only the
Yeah,
strong.
I have that
Banana
movie. I still have that movie.
That's terrible.
On VHS.
Nobody should have that damn movie.
He has no way to play it.
I will
but he
tell
has
you,
to
though-
take
He has a way to play it. He just goes out every weekend and finds a broken VCR.
I will tell you, though, I believe it was copied off of HBO.
Oh.
That's even better. As soon as it ends, like to the middle of an episode of Real Sex.
So we try to get you guys the news pretty pertinent every time we do these podcasts.
But
we do
shit
them on,
happens
we do
when
them
we're
on
done.
Friday, which is when before a lot of the news, we get everything throughout the whole week. But shit happens.
Yeah.
Things,
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you shit really happens too, because we try to change the date around,
And
and
it does not
Dodge
work.
crawls in our ass.
Yeah, it's
Because
not
his
good.
big thing is that big news breaks Thursday.
no, big news breaks Friday, but usually in the morning.
Right.
So if we do it on Thursday, then we miss everything on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, and apparently Friday we missed 3-4 big things.
Yeah, 3 big things that happened, of course, after our show. One of the big ones is Chris Weidman has broken his hand, is out of his fight against Belfort. That fight will be moving to February. Instead, for the December 6th card, we do have a pretty good main event, though. We get Johnny Hendricks against Robbie Lawler 2.
I like that.
That's a perfect...
That's a crowd pleaser.
That's a definite crowd pleaser and definitely a perfect replacement fight. We have more on the news of Anthony Johnson. News on Anthony Johnson and more on the news of Thiago Silva. Anthony Johnson has been suspended indefinitely. He's not been cut. He's just
Pending an
suspended.
investigation.
Pending investigation because the mother of his children issued a restraining order and told the police that he's of threats and history of abuse. So they said we're waiting for a third-party law firm to conduct a formal investigation. Once we have more information, we'll determine the further course of action that's from the UFC. In similar related news, Thiago Silva, who got brought back into the UFC after beating the system, not having any charges put up against him for domestic abuse and the craziness that he went and attempted to try to kill his wife. She then, from Brazil, released videos of him trying to kill her with a gun and high on cocaine. So he has been completely released again.
When a guy threatens to kill you with a gun when he's high on cocaine and he doesn't succeed, the last thing you want to do is give him motivation to do it again.
Especially when you made it to be alive this long.
I'm not condoning anything because I'm saying this as a man. If another man tried to kill me when he was high on cocaine with a gun and was unsuccessful, I would not then again give him motive to try it again.
I wouldn't let him know where I'm at.
No.
Like, I would not pop back up after hiding.
Hell no. I would just be happy that I made it.
So, I mean, crazy news.
Okay, my question with the Anthony Johnson thing, they're allegations, but I thought that there was a report of something in 2010 or 2009.
Yeah, something that...
Well, he does have a prior.
He does have a prior.
He does have a prior for domestic violence.
But
okay.
they don't, apparently... Well, I don't know, because let's say they don't usually go after things that have prior, except for that one guy.
Well, just right now. Everybody's super touchy.
It's the hot button.
Unless you're in Congress or Senate.
Right.
And apparently...
Or Mayweather.
Well, the Mayweather thing, I understand. He's... You know
what, Mayweather?
Yeah, I
That's
understand.
Why?
that's the only reason.
I'll go to prison when I'm good, damn well, and ready when my career's over.
Right, but when he's gone, I mean, the sport's gone.
True.
So I mean,
so you can condone it if it's
no,
Mayweather.
I'm not condoning it. I'm just telling you how it's still
you
working.
can understand it if it's Mayweather. Guys got
no,
seven.
I don't understand.
I don't understand. I'm just
saying
telling
this is something that we've seen.
Right.
Yeah.
This guy's got 7 convictions.
Yeah.
Of domestic violence.
Right.
With 7 different women.
Oh.
He'll go to prison when he's ready. He said he would. He said he was going to go.
He promised
when he's ready.
and I'm quoting off a show that I was watching, a boxing show I was watching the other night. No, I did not do that research myself. If I'm wrong, fuck me.
Bigger news. We also had while we were actually doing our show, the John Jones, Daniel Cormier thing went to the Nevada State Athletic Commission during their little court case to find out what is going on.
Respectfully.
The Nevada State Athletic Commission had their hearing, and they fined John Jones $50,000 and 40 hours of community service.
They can do community service?
Apparently. Well, yeah,
which is a PSA.
Chael was going to do community service and then helping them try to stop drugs in the MMA. That's technically community service, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't even know they could assign it to you.
And Jones also would like everybody to know he lost his Nike sponsorship because of this.
I think he really lost his Nike sponsorship because he's a douchebag.
No, I think it was the ESPN off camera, or when they thought they were off camera.
A little bit of both. Technically, John Jones was the first one to throw a punch. He also did make the off-color comments. Daniel Cormier was not left without responsibility. He also was fined $9,000 and got 20 hours of community service. I would love to see them doing some community service together.
Yeah, that 9,000 is killing him. What do you think he's making on Fox Sports?
Right?
Well, they're just finding a percentage of their purse from their fought, right? So
yes.
So it's actually Jones's fault for making more money.
Yeah. Kevin Casey has also been suspended for 12 months and fined $5,600 due to his post-fight drug test.
Is he going to go live at Spencer Pratt's house for a while?
Most likely.
So they give up 10%. I'm lost now of the purse that they might get.
That they will get, guaranteed, because you're guaranteed show money.
Okay, the show money.
They can only get your guaranteed show money. They can't give it up. They can't take away your win bonus if you don't win it.
I just see them all picking up trash on the side of the freeway, like you said. That's all I have in my head now. In orange vests with one of those pokey sticks.
Well, that's cool because then you can fight and you have one lookout, and then there's the other guy who looks for the beer that your buddy stashed when you're out doing the community service.
Is that how it works?
Allegedly.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Especially if it's at a lake that you all go to. And you just go around and pick up your tall cans.
That you left there?
That sounds like Donald Cerrone community service right there.
It's great community
service. You go out on the wakeboard and be like, I'm looking for cans.
I'm going to look for trash on the wakeboard later. Woo! Give me the orange life vest.
Lorenzo Fertitta is very positive that he believes that Nick Diaz's DUIs will not affect his fight in January because, quotes, I've never seen a situation where a commission didn't license someone because of a DUI.
Right, okay.
Do you think it's going to hinder him or not?
I don't think so.
No. Not with how you can put cases off. And
DUIs are bad. They should be a more serious deal than they are because obviously we've seen what happens when DUIs go wrong. And I'm not saying that DUIs should be punished the same way that domestic violence is being punished, but at the same time, it seems like, especially in the sports world, in the acting world, in the entertainment world altogether, they just get brushed off like, oh, no big deal.
Yeah. Well, everybody makes a mistake.
Unless you're Nick Nolte or...
Yeah, and then you get helmet laws.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that was Gary Busey.
Yeah.
Gary Busey got the DUI and wasn't wearing a helmet, and now that's why California state law says that you have to wear a helmet while riding a motorcycle.
But if you're Ted Kennedy, nobody gives a shit.
Hey, Why we gotta bring up Chapquita? Why? Who cares if there was no water in her lungs? She drowned.
So the biggest news to come out of, I think the biggest news to come out of last week that happened was that Wanderlei Silva has retired. He went on YouTube on a crazy long tirade, which of course half the time if you watch these things are unintelligible, except for the subtitles at the bottom. And even then, most of the time it doesn't make sense.
It's just garbled subtitles.
He retired. He says, "It's with a heavy heart I have come here today to declare I am stepping down from the ring. After today, Wanderlei Silva will not fight again. My career is over because I don't have a stage to perform where the athletes get the proper respect. For these reasons, I've had enough." He's talking about the UFC, has tried to turn their fans against me. My fans who have followed me for 20 years, much before this event even existed. I was already fighting bare knuckle in Brazil. I fought bare knuckle and I helped build this sport. Everything you see today, I helped build with my sweat and my blood. And now these guys come around and try and tell us what we are and what we are not. He also says that he plans to fight again no matter what.
Done fighting until I fight again.
Well, and this also comes out to within the next day at that same Athletic Commission hearing. The Nevada State Athletic Commission has banned him from fighting in Nevada for life for running on his drug test.
Right.
They also fined him $70,000. And he says that the commission says that, you know, if he's not going to pay it, then we're going to send it to collections, which I think is funny. And he says, you know, thank you, my friends. You've got the power and you give it to who you want. This is Wanderlei again. Thank you so much for everything. And for those who are trying to take me down, come and get it. The war is just beginning, you sons of bitches. They will see that we're the ones who run this shit. Bunch of playboys. No way. No, my fans. Nobody take. Thanks, my guys. Doesn't matter. We're too many. We're going to show our strength. You want to brawl? Come and get me, you motherfuckers. And again, he says he's going to continue to fight.
How would you like to be the collection agent that gets that catches that case? You know, like you got to call Juan's house and tell him that he owes $70,000.
I'm not going to his door.
And then, like after you called him 3 times and he says no, then you got to go to his house.
Well, they don't run around with a lot of cash in their pockets, so I'm pretty sure you're just going to do collections out of his account.
He then was recently interviewed and said his greatest fight was against Chuck Liddell. He said his toughest fight was against Crow Cop because of his eye injury. He said it was the closest time he's ever been to death. His greatest rival was Rampage. And the one that got it away, he wanted to fight Dan Henderson and Vitor Belfort again. And, of course, Chael Sonnen.
You know, as much as these guys like to say that I was there, I helped build this, so are they going to take responsibility for the 10 years of losing money? You know, because
that's a valid point.
Very
I'm
valid
just
point.
saying, everybody, the last couple specials that I've seen about the UFC, everybody agrees there was one fight that was a turning point.
Barner Griffin.
Right. And from that point, people got interested. 10 years, nobody gave a shit, really. And this thing lost money. And nobody's like, I was one of the fighters that caused them to lose money. I was, you know, nobody.
I was there when I made a break. No,
Yeah.
except for Rodriguez. Rico Rodriguez is the only guy that said, I'm pretty sure I almost bankrupted the UFC.
Right. Okay. You know.
Dana White almost fucking completely lost it when he overbooked the pay-per-view.
Yep.
And the Tito Ortiz fight.
Yep.
I mean, we could talk about the semantics all day, but I don't think it was. I personally don't think it was the fighter's fault. I think Wanderlei has a very legit claim to fame here because.
Do you think, though, the UFC has gone out of their way to turn his fans against
Absolutely
him?
not. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous. But in regards to your point about these guys building the company, ultimately, I think this could have been maybe not as successful as it is today, but it could have been a lot more successful back then had it been promoted properly. And it was never promoted properly.
Correct.
And it took the changes made in the sport and the proper promotion, and of course the lucky catch of everybody seeing Stephan Bonner and Forrest Griffin fight because everybody started texting and calling their buddies saying, "Turn on, FX."
You have to see this.
Get on Spike right now. Yeah.
So there was a lot that went into it, but I don't take anything away from these guys that did fight through the dark ages because without them the sport wouldn't have survived.
No, and him and Chael, I mean, as much as they want to blame anybody else, the months that led up to what happened to them, they brought it all upon themselves.
Oh yeah, they're fully responsible for all that.
Dana White says look, I've never said anything bad about Wanderlei at all. All I said was, you don't run from a fucking drug test. That's the worst thing you could do. Why are you running? Like, he's like, oh, well, I was on diuretics for my wrist. First of all, like I've said before, what kind of wrist injury do you have to take diuretics for?
You don't beat off like he does.
I think
and second of all, like, you don't run for you say, okay, I'm dirty, you get your fine, you move on, you fight later. You don't run.
Yeah, and you sure don't do what Chael did, where he tried to say, okay, well, the drugs that they found, the first ones that they announced, well, I had reasons for all those.
I had some
and then when they come out with the full thing, well, what about the HGH? Oh,
all right, you got me.
You got me.
All right, I wasn't telling you guys the full truth. I was trying to skirt the system, and I got away with it for a long time.
Exactly.
And now they're
Fucking Billy told me that would still mask the HGH.
exactly. He was wrong. You know what I mean? I gotta walk away because I don't know how to beat the system anymore. Right. Whereas Wanderlei's just like, nope, I'm running. And then guess what? I'm retiring. Fuck you guys. I'll fight wherever I want.
Right,
as long as it's not in the bag.
That's that kid that plays tag, and right when you're about to tag him, he goes, I quit, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
Doing that one game of beer pong, and you're like, champion, walking away, nobody else can play me. I don't even want to play.
That's me boxing. One and done. I'm undefeated. Still got my fucking trophy.
They recently asked him if he would be all right with going into the Hall of Fame, and he says he doesn't need to be in that Hall of Fame. The fans do the Hall of Fame. From this organization, I want nothing more. They put me there. I don't accept it. My Hall of Fame are the fans. I've never had so much support. I'm stronger than I ever was. Dana White says there's going to be no Hall of Fame for this guy. He's been Pete Rosed. There will be no Hall of Fame offers for him.
So he's pretty much saying, he's letting you know right now, Shale's not going to be in there either.
Yeah.
Essentially,
which
we called.
Yeah.
And we also said Pete Rosed. I don't know which one of Dana's employees are listening to this right now. But credit where credit's due, kids.
Bob, the employee.
Dana, if you have people listen, at least call us once.
Yeah.
Give us sign up for your interview all the time.
Yeah. Give us an interview, Dana. We got some really good shit to ask you.
I don't have anything to ask you, honestly, but I would still like to interview you.
So we have the Ultimate Fighter. Do you want to talk about the Ultimate Fighter first, or do you want to talk about Ultimate Fight Night Japan?
I don't care.
Let's go with the Ultimate Fighter.
Okay.
Because it's up. Beck Rawlings, again, we talked about this last week when we saw the preview. Her stepdad did pass away while she was filming the show. It was right off the bat. Like, it was like the first thing in the episode. And then Dana breaks, like, takes no punches, just walks in and goes, Beck, I need to talk to you. Your stepdad passed away.
I like it that somebody compared it to her hamster dying. It's like
bad.
Dana was like, your hamster died. I'm sorry.
She knew he was sick. I guess he had a long battle with Parkinson's. And there was a possibility that he might pass away during the show. He did pass away, so it was a little tough for her. Team Melinda's coaches came in and brought her flowers. You saw Jake Shields running around the house looking lost.
I must have been outside smoking during this. Because I know I watched the episode. I don't remember any of this stuff.
And then, of course, we got Heather Jo Clark still being a bitch to everybody, allegedly.
Did see that.
According to all the other girls, none of them like her.
What's her nickname?
Bitch.
What, like Cocky McDickfuck or something like that? That's what Beck Rawlings says on her
I like that one.
on her blog. It's like Dickie McDickfuck or something like that.
I like Cocky McDickfuck.
You gotta say it like Conor McGregor. Cocky McDickfuck.
Cocky McDickfuck. Or you could say it like the girl. Yes, she's very cocky McDickfuck.
And then I killed him.
I made carrot cake.
I put him in the carrot cake. It's very nice.
Then we're going to have our rematch, which was Jessica Pena over Lisa Ellis. Lisa Ellis, the whole time they're building up this episode, they are basically saying she doesn't want to be there. She wants to be back home with her daughter.
No shit.
The whole episode.
Very apparent.
And they said it was going to be a crazy twist ending nobody saw coming unless you watched everything leading up to the show.
Yeah, knowing that she would just give in and be submitted.
Yeah, so the minute she got taken down and she was in a submission, she immediately tapped. Not a lot of people saw the tap, apparently. And then people were freaking out, like, why'd the fight over? She tapped. I saw the tap.
I thought it would have been a good segue for Motley Crue going home.
Right?
On my way.
Oh, we did technically have our first prank of the season.
Motley Lou.
The Team Pettis girls went and put or the Gil Melendez girls put a giant pair of granny panties on the Team Pettis.
Yeah, that was a great prank.
Underwear
awesome.
wall.
On the Team Penis wall?
Team Penis wall. And so Team Penis took it and put it across Gilbert's face, which I thought was funnier.
That was much better.
We'll see if they...
Here's the thing about this.
They get a little more out of control with their pranks.
Guys have this reputation for being gross.
Right? Like, we're going to come in your fucking fruit basket. We're going to... Like what all the
That
others
sounds like something off the Urban Dictionary.
It's true. I mean, they were peeing in like the salad bowls.
Yeah.
I mean, they were doing all kinds of crazy
That was
shit,
one
right?
season.
That's all one season. This is true.
That was one season. But what I'm saying is that we have this reputation for being gross. Girls are fucking disgusting. And I've heard some of the shit that goes down at slumber parties and stuff like that. So when are they going to get more creative with their disgusting
Not the
juvenile
videos
pranks?
you watch. You've heard actual stories?
I've heard actual stories. No, the videos I watch...
That's a different slumber party.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
It's not gross at all.
One time at band camp?
I don't watch slumber party videos, you pervert. All right, so we had Ultimate Fight Night over. This was
On Fight Pass in Japan.
Yeah, in Japan.
At like 3 in the morning.
It was so.
I got to watch it the next day.
Weird getting updates on my phone. My phone was just lighting up in my room. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Thank you very much, Matt Yonan.
Yes, thank you very much. So we got the main card.
Still can't broadcast my TV.
Dude, you're supposed to go over to his house.
And totally play with his gongle.
You need to Google his dongle so you can figure out what's going on. You can put it up on the big screen.
Paid to play with this dongle, you know.
I'll let you come over and watch the UFC for free tomorrow.
There you go. Kyoji Horiguchi over John Dos Reos TKO. I called that fight, I'm pretty sure. Right? Did I not?
Sure.
Maybe?
Sure.
Or did I go the other direction?
Yay,
Do we remember?
dodge.
We'll find out. Kiichi Kamemoto going up against Richard Walsh. This is a split decision. Misha Tate over Rin Nakai. I think I text both of you. I was watching this fight. It seriously looked like a big sister beating up on a little sister.
Yeah.
Rin Nakai is so short and didn't really have much to... Like, she would hit her and then kind of run away.
Yeah. As a lot of people referred to it, it was a mixed martial arts clinic.
Yeah, I mean, just Misha Tate all over her. I mean, just putting her down, knocking her around.
I'm going to have to go look for that fight online.
Using the distance quite well. Sexyama back in the win over Amir Sabdallah.
That bums me out, but I guess...
It was pretty decisive.
Yeah.
30-27s across the board.
I mean, Sexyama's a little more legendary than Amir Sabdallah.
Sexyama.
Yeah, exactly.
Miles Jury, man, taking out the Fireball Kid, Takanori Gomi. TKO round 1 with
That's
a minute 32.
crazy to me.
Miles Jury's got some hands.
It's crazy. Not as crazy as the main event.
Yeah.
Because that still kind of blows me away, too.
And then we have our main event, Mark Hunt knocking out Roy Nelson in the second round.
You just never know with Mark Hunt. You just don't.
You do know.
No, you know with Roy Nelson, he just lost the fire, dude.
Okay, here's the thing: is everybody was completely shocked and freaking out, saying this is Roy Nelson's first knockout. It was not. Does nobody remember? I posted this on our Facebook with the video. Nobody remembers that Andrei Arlovsky knocked him the fuck out in Elite XE.
That's right. Yeah, I honestly forgot
He
about
probably
it.
only knocked him out because the ref was asleep.
Oh, that's probably how it happened. Yeah, but Mark Hunt,
He's bullshit now.
I like
bullshit.
Mark hit him with that uppercut and just dropped him flat on his face.
Yep.
And then tried to get the walk off. And the ref pushed him out of the way and, like, literally pushed him on top of Roy. And it's like, he's like, no, man, I'm lazy. I don't want to go to the ground and get ground and pound. He's out. And kind of tripped over him, got up, did the walk-off. And then immediately that's when Roy Nelson kind of comes up and is a little pissed off. Dude, you fell flat on your face.
Hell yeah. I like
you were out.
I'm woozy.
Yeah.
You're knocked the fuck out.
And then, of course, Mark Hunt thanking Jesus, as he usually does. It's probably one of my favorite things ever is watching the Embedded show.
I was going to say, your quote, yeah.
Yeah, watching the Embedded show, and they had Conor McGregor and Dana White and Conor McGregor's trainers and like his wife. They're all watching this event live, and he gets the knockout. They're all shocked and everything, and his trainer immediately goes, "I guarantee you, he thinks Jesus first." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? He always thanks Jesus. Just wait." First thing he says, "I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ." And they go ape shit. They think it's hilarious. His trainer goes, "Of course, Jesus loved knockouts." Conor McGregor's laughing. He's like, he's just, oh yeah, Jesus is up there in heaven, and he's just looking. Oh, there's the uppercut, knockout. Oh, he's going ape shit up in heaven. It's fucking great, dude. Watch the Embedded episodes. They are awesome. They are all leading up to the week of the fight.
You know what band Jesus hates the most?
Which one?
9 Inch Nails.
Oh. But Mark Hunt now in the top 5
That's
of
awesome.
the heavyweight division.
That's awesome for a guy who came over here with a losing record.
And now he's in double digits.
What the hell?
Double-digit wins.
Never
But
would've
how
saw
long
this
is he going to
coming.
stay in the top 5?
He will.
You think so?
He will.
I don't know. He
Don't
might,
you knock Mark Hunt.
Okay.
He might be like Phil Baroni, man.
Don't you knock Mark Hunt.
Phil Baroni gets up.
Man, he's got the knockout walk-off win. Who's got walk-offs like Mark Hunt? Nobody.
Derek Jeter.
No. That was rigged.
Rigged game. Nice.
So we have UFC 178. Thank God, a good fucking card finally for
Yeah.
a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone through. I mean, we got the cancellation of 176, the shitty card that I went to of 177, a shittier card of Bigfoot versus Arlovsky on Fight Pass.
Look, 177 was only a shitty card because they pulled every good match off of it and put it on different
because
cards.
Morale can't make weight
they had a whopping 7 fights on the card.
with 20
The
20-minute interviews.
The Soto fight still was a decent
It was,
fight.
yeah.
By comparison.
It was a good fight. But then you had this.
By
The
comparison.
Japan card was good. The Japan card was good. I'll give them that. And now we have. And then, of course, the Musashi, the Jacare fight was good.
Nah, yeah.
But finally, a pay-per-view that's worth buying again. This card is stacked from top to bottom. So stacked that they're moving a lot of the guys into the prelims.
Every inch of you is perfect from the bottom to the top.
From the bottom to the top.
Got it.
Starting off your Fight Pass, we have Manville, the Anvil Gambarian, going up against Cody
I thought
Gibson.
he got cut.
No, he's making a cut to 135.
Oh.
His first cut to 135. I don't know how that's going to do well for him since he already had cardio issues at 140.05. 40.05?
Yeah. 140.05.
140.05. We do know he has dynamite in his
Godzilla!
hands.
1,405 pounds!
We know he's got dynamite in his hands, but he doesn't seem to throw them enough. Cody's coming off that controversial win over Johnny Bedford, where the ref was like, I'm going to stop the fight. Wait, is he out? Okay, I'm going to stop the fight. Why are you awake? Definitely didn't know when to stop the fight correctly, but he did get the win. We do know he's a good wrestler. I think I'm going to have to take Cody in this fight. I would like to see Manville win, but I'm going to take Cody.
I'd like to see the Manville dislocate his shoulder on a takedown attempt again.
All right. He has 4-6 in the UFC, so it's quite possible.
You think we're ever going to see challenge flags and review in this sport?
They used to do yellow cards. I don't know about challenge flags. They used to do yellow cards in Pride.
They need yellow cards back.
Or if you kick somebody in the nuts too many times, or you're stalling too many times, you can get a yellow card. You get a red card, 10% of your purse has to go to your opponent, regardless if you win or lose.
Yeah, I think we need the card system, honestly, back.
It was pretty cool.
Martial arts. I loved it.
John Tuck.
Because they would pull a yellow card and then the fight would be over 10 seconds later.
Oh, yeah,
The
because they'd be
fighter's
like, oh, fuck this.
Shit, yeah.
Like gold stars and smiley faces too, though.
No, they punch it for you. They
Yeah.
punch the cards.
John Tuck and Kevin Lee, both 8-1. John Tuck is 2-1 in the UFC. Kevin Lee is 1-1. Kevin Lee, we know, is a Division II wrestler. John Tuck is a pretty decent grappler. I think I'm going to be taking Lee overall, though I think he's just an overall better athlete.
You're probably going to get some ground and pound from Lee on this one. If you got a guy who likes to grapple with developing striking skills, he's not going to want to stand with the guy.
Yeah, I believe Tuck's last one was a knockout, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I'm still taking Kevin Lee.
All right.
Then starting off your card on Fox Sports 1, we have John Howard going up against Brian the Harrow Ebersol.
Oh, God.
I'm happy for the Harrow. I'm glad he's back.
I'm going for Howard the Duck.
The green harrow.
The green Harrow. That'd be cool.
If he came in with the arrow and it was green one time, that'd be awesome.
I dig it. The Harrow is 50-16-1. Guy has been around forever. He likes to throw the cartwheel kick at least once in every fight for no reason, other than he one time got a knockout with it, so now he says he has to do it in every fight at least once.
This is what I like about Brian Ebersol is that he likes to entertain the crowd, though. Too.
Yes, he definitely does.
That's why he does his stupid shit, because he knows his part showmanship.
He is really good in the clinch. He has decent wrestling. He's a grinder. He's not looking... I haven't seen him really finish fights as of lately.
No.
He has finished fights before, obviously, but nothing that's of note. John Howard, we know he's very heavy-handed, decent wrestler. I think I'm going to be taking Brian Ebersol, though, to grind this out to a decision.
I think Howard's not going to let him grind it out.
All right.
Unless Ebersol can find a way to lay on him and keep Howard from standing up.
Push him against clinch.
Man.
It's possible. Or against the fence in the clinch. Patrick Cote going up against Steven Wonderboy Thompson.
Cote's, are we in Canada for this one?
No, we're not. We're in
What the hell is
Vegas.
Cote
Cote's doing there. I don't know. I mean, this is the old guard versus the new guard. This is a true veteran in Cote going against the up-and-comer Steven Thompson. Cote's good stand-up boxer. Likes to sprawl and brawl. That's pretty much... He's old school. I mean, that's what he does. Whereas Steven Thompson has got really, really good kickboxing. It's very unorthodox. Likes to throw a lot of unorthodox style kicks. He has been working on his wrestling. And I think he's going to be a little too much for Cote. I think Cote's on his way out.
Cote's 7-8 in the UFC, and they literally only bring him out when it's a Canadian fight. Because they need more Canadian fighters.
True.
They don't bring Cote to the U.S. When was the last time he fucking fought in the U.S.? It's been like 6 years.
Does Stephen Thompson come out to Tenacious D?
No, but he should.
He should.
Definitely should.
Why is that?
They have a song called Wonder Boy.
That's where he got his name.
You don't know that song, Wonderboy?
I don't know much Tenacious D.
Really?
It's an awesome song.
Because you don't do no cock push-ups, that's why.
I don't.
Right?
I
Zero cock
don't.
push-ups.
I tried.
You never know when you have to fuck your way out of a situation.
Let's see. US.
Kung Lee.
2012.
Kung Lee. So it's been 2 years,
Yeah.
and he lost to Kung Lee. All right, whatever.
And before that, look, Brazil, Canada, Canada. Oh, California.
He fought in Anaheim?
Yeah, back in 2010.
Jeez.
When he lost and got out of the UFC. George Masvidal going up against James Krause.
This should be a good fight.
You call him George or Jorge?
George Masvidal? Did you like Jorge better?
I don't know.
Does he like George or Jorge?
When we were
Do
at
you remember?
when we were at the
don't
press
remember,
conference, they called him both.
I know.
One person referred to him as George, and the other one Jorge.
Jorge.
Was one of them white and the other one Hispanic?
Possibly. I'll say Masvidal. Does that make you happier?
There you go.
All right. Game bread, right? I guess what his name is. I'm taking the backyard brawler. I'm taking Masvidal all the
Right.
way. I mean, he's got really good boxing, non-stop cardio. He's definitely been working on his wrestling. I think his wrestling's a little underrated. Where Krause is I mean, really, out of the fights I've seen, he's only had 3 in the UFC. He's got really good, hard, low kicks and some decent hands, especially his left hand. But I just think Masvidal will be taking this fight.
I completely agree with you.
I still want to see him and Bobby Green.
He says he wants the winner of Cerrone and Alvarez on this card, which I think would be pretty awesome.
Who, Green or Masvidal?
Masvidal,
Oh.
which I think would be pretty awesome.
I don't think Cross can make that call right now.
No, Masvidal wants that.
That's what he's saying.
Oh,
Masvidal.
Yeah, Krause can't make that. No. Dominic Cruz making his return after 3 fucking years. He is coming back.
You know what's shitty about this? Let me
The
tell you
last
what's shitty
guy,
about
wait,
this.
wait. You know what's shitty about this? The last guy he fought is fighting for the title. The last guy he fought is Demetrius Johnson when Demetrius Johnson was still a bantamweight.
Jesus.
Why does he always got to be involved?
So what's shitty about this?
What's shitty about this is that, like, oh, Dominic Cruz is finally back after 3 fucking years of fight, and then we're all going to remember that Dominic Cruz is fucking boring.
He's got pretty dynamic movement. He likes to jump around quite a bit. He's got good angles. He's in and out. He's a lot of head shakes and fakes.
As a fighter, an announcer, a commentator,
he's got good pace.
He's fucking boring. He's not funny. He's horrible.
I'm in complete agreement. Like,
But I'd still rather hear him than Karen Bryant.
Why, really?
Yes.
All right.
I'm happy that he's coming back because obviously he left as a champ on injury, not because he wanted to.
Right.
So he definitely has the right to try to come back and regain that title and see.
And
if he
he's
can defend
given
it.
a guy who's number 5 in the division.
So he'll be ready for a title shot real soon if he wins. But god damn, he's boring.
Going up against Mizugaki, who's also a boring fighter. I mean, I like Mizugaki a lot, but he's a grinder, man. He's a wrestler
We
with
like
decent
Mizugaki
punching.
because he's Asian.
That's true. He came over from those organizations. He did really well. He's always in it for an all-out war. Like, he's a grinder. He always is in it nonstop.
So you're looking at coming off Masvidal and Krause, fast-paced fight to
the main event on Fox Sports 1.
that is going to go the distance.
That'll go to distance.
So it's going to be Cruz and Mizugaki, and there's going to have a celebrity ref, which would be Askren.
That'd be awesome.
Possibly.
It'd just be the world of boredom in the ring.
Yeah. Sponsored by
Fitch.
Ambien.
Him and Fitch could team up
And
to,
Sleep Train.
You have your first fights on the main card. Kat Zingano making her return after a year layoff due to injury, going against Amanda Nunes.
It's a rough fight, man.
I think Alpha Cat's got this, man. I'm taking Kat Zingano the whole time. When she gets people up against the cage, we saw against Miesha Tate, she just throws a barrage of knees and elbows. She grinds it out. She takes him down. Dana's saying she's going to get her title shot that she was deserving if she wins this fight. Amanda Nunes is good, but she's won 9 of her last 11, but she still has a karate base.
I like real quick, just a peek behind the curtain here. Dodge does pretty much all the research for this show, which I said in our interview. And just a real quick peek behind the curtain here is that Dodge actually wrote down that she's won 9 of her last 11 fights. Yeah. She's had 11 fights. So he worked real hard on that stat, just so you guys know.
Just throwing it out there. It sounds good, doesn't it? If I say you won your last 9 of 11, I didn't say your record.
Oh, wait, 2-0 in the UFC. Oh,
Yeah.
she's had 12 fights. All right, fine.
No, she's 9-3. 2 of them have been in the UFC,
Okay.
and they were wins.
Still 9-3. That's 12.
I misread the number. So
There you
my
go.
entire
So
point,
she's won 9
my
of her
entire
last
point was
12.
invalid. She's won 9 of her last 12.
There
There you go.
Way to fucking sideline the show, Joey, for absolutely no reason.
She is a karate striker. She hits very hard, but she's very timid. She likes to hang back and kind of counter. And I don't think that's going to be good going up against Kat Zingano.
And that's why we celebrate when Joey's right, like earlier this week.
right.
I saved that text, dude.
Oh, dude.
I'm sure you locked it in.
It's
You
fucking locked.
screenshotted it.
I want to give Kat Zingano
Printed
the
it
edge in this
out.
one, obviously for the same reasons that you do, but a year layoff, you don't know what that does to somebody.
You want to make a bet?
Nope.
All right. Yoel Romero going up against Tim Kennedy. I love this fight at middleweight.
Apparently.
I love this middleweight fight. Tim Kennedy on loan from the U.S. Army, Green Beret. Pretty much a part-time fighter, but it does extremely well as a part-time fighter. He is a grinder. We've seen this guy go constantly. He's got cardio for days. He's got a heavy top game, but he doesn't seem to be a finisher, in my opinion.
That's a good point.
No, he's going to go the way of GSP.
Now-
he's going to out-technique you.
He has all of his last 3 opponents he was supposed to be stylistically matched up against. He was supposed to lose those fights. He went up against Hodger Gracie, who was supposed to get him on the mat, and he won that fight.
Right.
He went up against Bisbing, who was supposed to be able to outstrike him, and he won that fight. You know what I mean? So A lot of the guys he's been put up against, he's
you think Yoel Romero was the guy to do it, huh?
I think Yoel Romero is the guy to do it. He is a highly decorated wrestler, probably one of the most highly decorated in the UFC currently, and definitely in the middleweight division. This guy's an Olympic silver medalist, Pan American Gold winner. He's extremely strong.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Extremely heavy-handed.
Tim's going to have a big problem with his upper body.
Extremely heavy-handed. I think this guy is definitely the future of the middleweight division. 4 straight wins, 3 of those by knockout. All 4 of those being in the UFC. I'm taking Yoel Romero to take out Tim Kennedy.
When's the last time Kennedy had a knockout?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I can't go against Tim Kennedy from the Army. You're probably right, but I'm not going to vote against him.
I like Tim Kennedy. I just don't think he's going to be able to beat Yoel Romero.
That's fair enough, man. So Conor McGregor going
Your
up against Dustin Poirier.
co-main event.
Coco
main event. Conor McGregor going up against Dustin Poirier. We're going to see if...
I can't go against Conor McGregor.
I can't go against Conor McGregor either.
Yeah, right now there are pre-UFC 178 parties in Ireland right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Dustin
schmammered
Poirier.
right now.
Oh, yeah.
Dustin Poirier has really, really good counters, really good combinations, but he has really, really bad head movement. He does not move his head.
That's going to be a huge problem
and
against
that's a
Conor
huge
McGregor.
problem against Conor McGregor. That's correct, yeah. He's good in the scramble. He's got good chokes. He's got good submissions, but his defense just isn't the best. He's good on offense. He pushes the pace. He moves forward. He's very aggressive. But then on defense, he kind of freaks out.
Yeah.
And his last fight was when?
Poirier? Earlier this year?
Yeah. Conor McGregor... I mean, again, we got to see if he can
keep riding that hype
keep
train.
riding the hype trip.
Yeah,
he's talked his way up this way. Now this is a top 10 opponent. He's got really good range, really good angles, and I like that he's got a really good solid base that he blends with these crazy unorthodox strike, the spinning back elbows and like the weird angles, and just he's a guy that's hard to hit. And he has like standard boxing, but then he all of a sudden switches it up, and he's got the crazy spinning back fists and things like that.
And a lot of power behind those
A lot
punches.
of power behind him. And it seems to confuse guys that are like, wait, he was this, and all of a sudden he's doing that. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's been working for him so far.
Yeah, and his defense is
Pretty solid.
real strong, and it becomes an offense real fast.
Yes. The thing that I think is very interesting that somebody brought up recently is this whole week there are rumors that are coming out that he has a hand injury. And that he's been training defensive wrestling techniques without the use of his thumb because he's injured. On 2 of the embedded episodes, he has his hand wrapped during, like, he's eating lunch, he's doing stuff. And people are saying that he's injured. They went to a bunch of the people on the UG in Ireland, and they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. He has no injury. We've never heard of anything. But we do think and would not ever put it past Conor McGregor to make this shit up himself just to get in Poirier's head. He could be wrapping his hand and telling everybody he's injured just to fuck with Dustin Poirier.
Right?
Because that's what he does.
That's gameness right there.
Right, and that's what they believe happened last week with Mark Hunt and the weight thing.
Yeah.
This game's 50% physical, 50% training, and 50% mental.
Totally.
Hey, 210% all the way.
200. Co-main event, Donald Cowboy Cerrone going up against Eddie Alvarez.
Again, check out his interview, please. We have it. It's awesome.
Donald Cerrone looking to become the linear Bellator champion for the lightweight division.
By doing this?
Because Eddie Alvarez walked away with the belt, technically.
That's a good point.
Donald Cerrone, we know, has amazing Muay Thai. He's got underrated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling. We've seen him use it time and time again. So at this point, I don't even know if we can still call it underrated. I think we say it every time.
But everybody still comments about his Muay Thai.
They
It's
all
always
talk about his Muay Thai. Because
Muay Thai.
that's what he's really, really good with his kicks. I think he's going to chop at Eddie's legs really hard. And then he does. He switches it up. He hits the guys low for round after round and then gets that head kick and knocks him out.
Or he goes in for the choke.
He's good in the scramble. The only thing that worries me is he seems to have a problem with body shots. We saw him get taken out by Nick Diaz with body shots, Pettis with body shots, Dos Anjos. Anytime he gets hit in that body, he drops pretty good. He doesn't seem to defend the body well, and when he gets hit, he seems to go down.
Well, it's his liver. It's swollen.
Alvarez, if you don't know who he has been consistently ranked in the top 10 and even in the top 5 in the lightweight division. One of the guys they're saying is the only lightweight that should be in the top 5 that's never been in the UFC. Here he is in the UFC making his debut. He likes to throw caution to the wind. We've seen him get a little reckless. He's had some great fights with Hoheem Hansen, Kawajiri, Michael Chandler twice.
This guy is like, he's like the last great fighter to get signed by the UFC.
Yes, hands down.
Anybody else coming up in the ranks is I mean, you can say Ben Askren all you want, but Ben Askren's relatively new.
Yeah.
Eddie Alvarez has been around for a while.
for a while.
He's 25-3, never fought in the UFC.
I like how he wouldn't even
Didn't want to talk about Bellator.
About the Bellator slavery issue.
Didn't want to touch it.
Like there's almost a gag order.
Yeah,
on
he's
it.
like, I don't want to talk about that.
Especially when he was so open about everything else.
Yeah, Gil Melendez, he does not like. You can listen to the rest of that interview up on our
Please do. It was
SoundCloud.
awesome. It was a good time talking to him.
Or Cerrone. It didn't really sound like he's a big fan of Cerrone either.
Well, the fact that Cerrone this week said that he's never watched Eddie Alvarez fight, he refuses to watch any of the fights because he's got wakeboarding and shit to do.
Yeah, and everybody knows that's bullshit.
Oh, it's total rude.
That's like a football player
It's possible that he doesn't watch the tape, but I'm sure his coach is already saying this is what he does. This is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Nah, it's going to be a crazy fight, man.
I'm not picking anybody.
I'm
going to sit back and eat some popcorn and watch this fight just on the edge of I might not even sit down. I might have to just stand there and watch.
We were talking about Eddie Alvarez is from like the hood of Philly,
Oh, yeah, he's from Kensington, which is the hood of Philly.
where you got like cars on fire and shit when you drive down the street. But look at Donald Cerrone; he's about the most hood hick you'll ever meet in your life. Too.
Yeah.
So if you're talking like street cred here, like you can't. This
is a good fight.
These guys are.
This is an amazing fight.
They're going to beat the shit out of each other.
And I like that Alvarez, acknowledged the 209.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
Yeah,
knows
big
what's up.
big thanks to him for that. He was like looking at the phone, like, "What is this?
209.
209." Yeah, all right.
Then you have your main event, Demetrius Johnson, your flyweight champion, going against Chris Caraccial. Who?
Chris Caraccial.
Who?
Who?
Who's going to get a title shot for what?
Huh?
Chris Caraccial, he is on a 3-fight win streak.
But like you were saying,
Against non-ranked opponents.
Demetrius Johnson, they got nobody else to fight.
Yeah, I think, honestly, this fight was made because there's no other options available, yes. The best option, John Dodson, is out with ACL injury.
Yeah.
John Moraga and Jusimar Formaga, both are already going to be fighting each other. Ian McCall's already got a fight.
So you can't have your champ fight and like not fight in a year.
Caraccial's, he's fought 3 times this year.
Yeah, did they? Did they?
All on Fox and FX and shit. And
move
then he
him?
had that one horrible pay-per-view where he headlined, and literally people were walking out of the main event because nobody gives a shit about the flyweights for some reason, because he doesn't want to promote his fights. He doesn't want to promote his fights. The whole week, leading up to fight week, he was talking about how awesome he thinks Conor McGregor is for promoting fights, but never once wanted to talk about his own fight.
Right, yeah.
There's nothing you can do about that. You can't teach him.
No, I mean
he doesn't have that ability. If you listen, we have an interview with Demetrius Johnson too,
Yep.
and you can tell the huge difference between somebody like talking to Eddie Alvarez versus talking to Demetrius Johnson. He is more than happy to talk about fighting, but when it comes to like hyping fights and stuff like that, he just doesn't have the ability.
I mean, Caraccial, he's got decent skills. He's good in the clinch. He's got Muay Thai. He's good at the counter. He's got an active guard. He's just not good enough to defeat Mighty Mouse on any level. Demetrius Johnson could easily be pound for pound the best fighter right now because of how many times he's defended his belt and how many top-ranked guys he's had to defend it against. He doesn't, I don't know. He excels everywhere. He's got angles. He's got knockout power. When we question about his knockout power, he knocks fucking Joseph Benitez the fuck out.
Right, seriously.
You know what I mean?
So, I mean, it's like...
He submits guys when we were talking about he wasn't submitting guys.
So if you're going to look at this objectively, though...
He dominated Bogatinov, who was supposed to give him fits. What's left for him in this division?
I don't know. So Caraccial literally just does not have...
No, it's not going to happen.
And win. It's not going to happen.
He has a puncher's chance.
He has a puncher's chance, but that's not...
The odds are literally like, I think it's like 1,200 to negative 900.
That's awesome.
You can get so much money if Caraccial
Someone give
somehow
me $1 to bet on that one.
Yeah, if Mighty Mouse slips on the ring mat and knocks himself unconscious, you're gonna win a shit ton of money.
Or passes out in his bathtub.
No, because we gotta have the fight happen. It has to happen.
So
the bell has to ring.
So if he did a Manny Gambarian and went for a tackle and dislocated his shoulder,
someone won a shit ton of money.
Yeah,
and I'm glad you bring up a point. I never really thought about it until you just said it, though. But there is a difference in demeanor and weight classes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because like in Cerrone and them's weight class, those guys are, you know what I mean? They're like a bunch of criminals, convicts.
Outspoken, all kinds of stuff.
You know? And then Demetrius Johnson's weight class, they're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to mix it up a little.
I'm really good at what I do, and what I do is good, and I just want to let everybody know it's going to be a good fight tonight.
Oh, that's what I totally, when I'm listening to the Demetrius interview, I hear those football players like, we went out to execute, and we got 100% execution, and I'm really glad we executed.
Seriously, that's like...
So what do you think's going to happen? Well, I hope to execute to full ability.
We got a plan. We're going to put that plan in place.
Yeah.
As long as we execute that plan,
We'll
we'll be victorious.
Execution.
What's the plan? Execution.
Execution.
Of the plan. All right, that's it. Wraps it up. Watch UFC 178 tomorrow night. Thanks for listening. Get us on Spreaker, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Tell your friends. Get us on an official website, which is splitdecisionmma.com. Also, subscribe on iTunes. You'll never miss an episode. On Facebook, it is Split Decision MMA Podcast. On Twitter and Instagram, SD_MMA. It is Bueller and Dodge from the Ruloff Family Inc. Studios saying have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.